undropped. And when we got to look at the actual map, it was a traffic jam, and that I think may cause some other teams to make a few more adjustments. Red Cannons gave up Pachinki and decided to go to sort of poor man's Pachinki. I hope that they don't do that again. They maybe find a little something else, because it's just too hard to get out of that spot.
I did feel a little sorry for Envy as they'd found themselves a really decent spot in the middle of the circle. But I suppose when you get there, it's hard to cover yourself from every single angle, especially if you're a solo snake.
Well, and the reality of Envy is they're doing these sort of late rotations right now, which, sure, that can work if there's a good compound to crash into, or it's got a lot of, sort of a Miramar style of landscape. But that circle out in the middle of a wheat field, you get there late, everyone knows where you are, and they're just waiting for their chance to pick you up.
Well, let's get to it here as PGC is brought to you in part by HyperX. We are going to the commentators team once again for game number 2 of Elimination Day here at PGC.
I think the analysts hit it right on the head. We got a couple of teams that are playing very afraid, and you cannot do that right now. These 4 teams that we're looking at right now need to come out. Look at that. There's 2 points between potentially qualifying and not.
It's going to be really tight all day matchroom. That's why we're doing it, and it's so exciting. Some teams I'm definitely keeping track of. Of course, these guys, Infantry. They have the fragging power. They need to find the moments. They need to find their timings, and they got to be aggressive. I think they could have gotten GYY there in that house in Yaz, but they opted to try to get under the stairs and got blown up.
That's the problem. If they had played that aggressive, if they had just exploded through those smoke, pushed up the stairs, that would have been such a huge surprise factor. Instead, they got opted into a defensive position. We keep seeing the fear being the factor that's stopping a lot of these teams. Crow Crowd, as Froz said, stopped on top of Everest.
It was weird to see them do that, and I've seen some teams in the PKL do it, and I especially in a circle like that, where I just kind of go, well, I know you can see for forever, but the circle is forever away anyway, so it doesn't make too big of a difference. And the Rumblers definitely want to get it going here, trying to get in on that free money that they got, and we'll see. It was a difficult situation for them. A bunch of teams over there on that east end fighting for control around the mansion area is being a really challenging position.
And here we go. We're moving into match number 2 on day number 3. Where are we going to end up going? We've got a plane path coming back over from the east, just a touch north of Lippo, and then making its way over Gatka to finish out. So, fairly easy plane path for a lot of these guys, but are they in their own heads yet? Do they still have the capabilities to clutch? Can they rebound from a bad game? There's a lot on the table right now for these teams.
I am really curious to see how Armory Gaming can recoup. I feel like they had an opportunity to just bomb way up north, up towards like Stalber or Kameshki or something early on there. Had they had the knowledge that no teams were going to be up there, there would have been some free loot available for them, because we saw one of the big problems became for them that they were literally carrying shotguns around.
Yeah, they had a very rough early game, and then that set them off, sending them over towards the forest. Now we can see that Team Liquid making their push back down towards Pachinki. I'm sorry, Liquid. You guys got Pachinki all to yourselves, can rotate at the time that you want, had 3 members that moved in towards Yasnaya, and then it kind of fell apart. I hope the fact that they can figure out whatever is going on and turn it on right now. VC already securing themselves a vehicle, making their push over to the side. Armory Gaming doing the same. I don't think that we're seeing any craziness happening with Armory Gaming this time, as they drop fairly close to each other.
Yeah, this is nice from Armory Gaming.
Other than hitting that.
Other than a little vehicle mishap. This is nice for them. Oh, boy.
Oh, okay. All right. So here we go.
I don't even want to finish my thought about Armory Gaming.
This is,
wow.
And coupled with a plane path, this is kind of mean, to say the least. But good if you're a Sun Sister fan, because these guys love to cut up towards the north. You can see that AG was like, hey, let's make our way back down towards the south. Never mind, let's go back towards the north now. So gonna be Envy landing down towards Melta. A lot of our teams decided to go back down towards that southern coast of the main island, and that means they're gonna have a trek ahead of them.
It's become a really popular area for teams to loot across all of the competitive PUBG regions. Unfortunately for a lot of them this time, the circle goes way north. I want to go back to the Sun Sisters real quick. This is a win condition for them. They're basically given about the best circle. They have tons of time and tons of room to maneuver right now. How are they going to take advantage of this? Because most likely this circle is going to end up somewhere north of the river.
I mean, the river is kind of the dividing line. We talk about it a lot whenever we see one of these circles. There's all those little mini bridges. You can sometimes see some smaller bridge camp set up, or at least a lot of teams kind of positioning for sight lines to maybe get a kill here or there. So now, Sun Sister, they have the early terrain in their backyard. GEX to a certain degree as well. Atletico is inside the circle, but they're south of the river, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see them make a move as well.
Atletico, another team that has gotten their preferred drop spot back. Razak has been contested at times for them. Now no one's contesting it. We saw it in the scrims that people were contesting it, but right away, making this early rotation. Me too. Exactly. This is exactly what they need to do. Get the positioning. They need the points.
This is where you know, okay, these guys have done a little bit of research. They know where most of the guys are pretty comfortable at dropping at. So go ahead and grab the vehicles, make your way early, claim your territory, and try to stake it out. Try to get those kill points like we were talking about. 2-3 points separates so many teams right now. A kill every game could decide this entire thing.
Right, everything matters. Everything is so important. Each kill you get. I love the point system because it keeps things so tight and so interesting, and you really want to make sure you confirm those kills that you get.
So Team Liquid looks like they were kind of scouting up along that direction. GEX kind of separated out on the other side of the river waiting. QM on the move as well. A lot of our teams back down towards the south. I'm going to say we still have about 5 that haven't started moving towards the circle yet, and probably have about 2, maybe 3 kilometers each to move. So these early rotators actually being closer towards the circle is going to pay off big.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see Atletico's already set up in the middle. Sun Sister still looting Severny and shooting range. They haven't made their rotation yet, so I'm kind of worried that that might come to bite them a little bit. We'll see. Maybe the utility is better for them since they're a fragging
That's
team.
surprising me coming out from Sophia, being the only person in that position. If you're going to hold that spot, usually you have multiple people waiting. So that way when somebody drives through, you can just mow someone down. And instead, Team Liquid can just kind of waltz through that bridge, run right by GEX and one of the members from Red Canids as well, and just go wherever they want.
Yeah, this is a nice move by Team Liquid here. Early rotation getting in there, taking it, even though they're outside of the circle in Pachinki again, despite getting their drop location back. I mean, that's the wild part, right? These circles have been pretty drastic the first 2 we've had, but this time, once again, making a nice early rotation. See if they can hold it down, because right now, the confidence seems to be a little shaky for them.
Crow Crowd really likes Everest. That is there. This time it makes a lot more sense than last time. You get a lot of vision up on that position. So moving over there, Envy making their rotations right next to VC, who's running a very extended 2-2 split. Looks like they might be doing a little bit what Toffees would talk about, playing a little bit safer, sending 2 members in, try to claim a location, have the other guys follow up back behind it. But CC making their push over there, as well as W-Click right now, going to be following around the Gatka area, making their way past next to Everest, which hopefully Crow Crowd saw.
We'll see exactly what's going to happen. Crow Crowd's already loaded up into vehicles off of Everest, so they might not see W-Click coming up behind them necessarily. So looks like for now, Crow Crowd's just going to cross the bridge and maybe set up at that compound Leo there, trying to pop some shots onto the Red Canids and trying to take that tire out.
So Crow Crowd's going to be coming along a similar path to that. Envy is just following through, going to go around Yasnaya up towards the north. I like this, just negate the river. I mean, there is a little bit of a choke point that's just to the northwest of Yasnaya, so you can kind of move through that, but no teams are playing it right now, so this should allow for an easy rotation coming in for them.
Yeah, I love this rotation coming in between Stalber and Yasnaya. It's generally pretty safe. There's a lot of hills and angles you can use to kind of keep teams from being able to pick you off along the way. Rumblers making their way up top, and here we go. Here is Sun Sister trying to box in QM.
Trigger discipline right there. I like it. Feed the information over, let your team kind of reposition if they want, take the shots when everybody's ready because you already know where they're at. Rumblers making a fairly long rotation where we talked about Envy went to the south of Stalber. These guys went all the way to the north of Stalber, and they've got Detonator right in front of them, so it's going to be a little bit of a caravan making its way towards the safe zone. All these guys are inside the safe zone right now, but nobody wants to play this close towards the water. So one thing to note, Sun Sister has been running this crazy split, and it's been paying off. They always net a kill here or there in the early game. They're running right along the northern part of the coast. Know how people are going to rotate. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them net one of these kills.
Absolutely, they could pick off somebody from Detonator along the way, and here you go, Crazy Sam trying to pick up some shots. No real damage coming through there for him. The other members of Sun Sister now have the information. They are on the move to try to pick off Detonator.
They're all on a nice little bit of a line to set up. Looking how everybody's moving through here. Crazy Sam living up to his name, just running back down towards Detonator. Detonator, trying to see where they were repositioning to. Detonator's decided to cross back over towards this building, so it's going to be Kendesu, who's had a big game so far. I feel like he's one of the big powerhouses for this team, but he has a ton of Detonator members around him. Sun Sister trying to reposition, provide some support, and he's just going to get instantly dropped, so Sun Sister has to go, nope, we got to play damage control now, retreat away from this.
Wow, really nice job by Hikari to get those headshots in and out-duel Kendes. He has been really, really good yesterday, but today it is not quite the same start for him.
So Moody's going to run right down into Severny, and that's going to be the Rumblers looking back down towards him. Lots of damage has gone through, but somehow he narrowly makes it towards the building. Meanwhile, the rest of Envy is back behind this, playing along the beach line. Terragate's got himself a little bit of an angle, but Microfry does manage to spin back around over this and down and flush Moody.
All right, so Envy is kind of boxed outside of the north side of Severny. Rumblers are in. Pat Caps is in a world of trouble right now. A vehicle and a smoke there for him, trying to get his health back up. Wicked looking to be he's always the information gatherer for Detonator, so he's out there just leading the way, trying to see what's going on their western flank. And W-Click making their move as well. They went way across the western bridge of Georgia Pole to get into here.
And here's the problem with how Sun Sister was playing inside the split. It's great if you get the kills, but if you don't, you can see now everybody's encroaching in the area. Pat Cap's just trying to drive this battered, broken vehicle away from the Rumblers and get to somewhere that's minutely safer than just laying across a beach. It's going all of 2 miles an hour. He jumps out of the vehicle, trying to use it for cover, run alongside of it, hoping that it's going to explode, maybe give him a little bit more, but it gives it a boost. He narrowly makes it out of the sight line of Los, and I think he might be able to make it to safety.
Great run there by Pat Caps. He's able to use that vehicle, got out of it very well, slowed it down enough that he didn't really take any damage when he jumped out, didn't accidentally knock himself.
I want to know what shoes he's wearing right now,
Can
because those shoes gave him a little bit extra go. We got Silsland looking back over towards everybody on VC. These guys had themselves a good game. Tide spins back around, gets a little bit of damage back towards Silsland, but it's all around a shack. You can see W-Clicks separated out, starting to throw out a couple of grenades, but look in the background, it's going to be Team Liquid looking back on this, feeling like they want to party as well. Tide is down. It's a lot of damage control going on inside the shack as smokes are coming down. They really want to get Tide back up. He's been a damaging force for them, but with grenade is not going to allow it. W-Click just running in, trying to mop up every kill that they can get that is laying in front of them.
W-Click is now under fire a bit from Team Liquid and the surviving members of VC. They're going to clean up 2 of VC, but 2 are still left. And now Sun Sisters getting involved. Crazy Sam from out of nowhere is going to knock Rybo.
W-Clicks trying to get something out of this. They're trying to take their time, get the meds back up, but Ribbo did go down due to this. VC making a push off to the side. Look at this, just running the motorcycle up. Silent mode. He's coming up like a ninja. Nobody's going to expect it. He just goes for the spray inside there. Doesn't really connect that much. Instead, they get spun back around on, and that's going to be DJ Boy going down.
Silson accidentally takes down his teammate in that, so it's 2 up for W-Click inside of the shack, I guess.
I guess the DJ push kind of paid off for them in the end. Meanwhile, okay, Sun Sister, look at all the loot that's down there. Ragnar's going to take the shots off on Crazy Sam, and W-Click's still looking at this loot like, man, this is a shopping mall right now.
I mean, I love the aggression by Sun Sister, trying to third-party this. No idea that Ragnar was still outside of this. They figured everybody had made their way up to this shack. Was not the case, and they're going to be down to just 1 member.
A lot of EU fans paying attention to the kill feed right now, not going to be too happy, as it's going to be G2 and Team Liquid exchanging shots back and forth at each other. We got Rascal Jester that's been hanging outside the blue for quite a while, finally made their way over towards Georgia Pool. Still not inside the safe zone yet, and you can see moseying along and no rush at all. They just want everybody else to fight and make their life easier. But nice little shots coming out here as GEX playing down towards the lower part of this bunker and gonna go ahead and get a kill out of it.
Yeah, I don't think Zhao Yang had any idea that somebody wouldn't necessarily be in there. It's so risky to come down inside of those bunkers. They're just death traps if anybody sniffs out that you're in there.
Okay, a couple of members of Envy are like, okay, Severny is not the play, so let's just go ahead and run back over towards the blue. Figure out some new path that we can come back around onto this. I mean, it's an earlier circle. Sure, it's super settings. It's going to hurt. But this leaves Taro to kind of defend this home territory back over here. Get the vehicle and now make a much longer rotation, but this is going to burn a lot of their stims and meds.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting maneuver here from Envy. I kind of like it. Something unexpected, something different. You got to go for it here.
Is Pride going to go back for Taro? I mean,
think
is that the play? Is that why they decide to opt into the other spawn, go back and get the car, leave one as a safety anchor, and send the other one in to maybe get him? I don't know. We'll have to see. I think that Pride's just moving back down towards the south. So we've got Team Liquid. They do have themselves a nice high ground position right now. They can see a lot of what's going on. I'm surprised they didn't get more involved with what was going on with WClick. It felt like there was a lot of opportunities there for them.
Yeah, they had a high angle on it, but there was just so much chaos in there. I think Team Liquid wanted to try to play it safe, play it for the late game potentially. They're getting beat up in team fights a lot, so maybe there's a little bit of nervousness in that situation for them as well. Circle went to the east pretty hard, so shooting range at dead center, and QM's already set up shop there.
All right, Sun Sister, they've got 2 members left. Kind of looking around, got to be cautious. Rumblers looked like they were going to go ahead and try to take a little bit more control over that bunker, trying to park the vehicle outside, kind of create its own door. Sun Sister taking a couple of shots back over towards GEX. At least go ahead and take out the tires. Be like, if I can't kill you, I'll at least kill your mode of transportation.
There are actually 2 members left here for Sun Sister. I was wrong. I forgot about Gaba because he was so far away from that fight that was going on between WClick and them and VC. And here we go. Infantry's coming up. We got WClick in a battle with QM, trying to gain control of the shooting range. Just some shots being exchanged. No real damage. Looks like GYY took a little bit.
That could be quite big. Remember, Silzen went off to the side of this, trying to get a different position, different firing angle for it. So now Ragnar has to figure out, okay, do I defend myself or can I get this res off? You can see reposition coming out from Wufang, trying to get in a spot where he can throw down this grenade. They know that they want to go for it. So if he can surprise this, if he cooks it long enough, going to go right out and over the head. Not going to see if it connects. Doesn't look like it did. Heard it off in the distance there. So G2 looks like they're trying to make their way back over towards this. Next grenade still goes out a little bit far, but you can see everybody's laying down, taking a lot of damage off of it. Wufang still has a couple more grenades to work with. That bounce and roll might be enough, but just not quite enough.
Wow, WClick just narrowly avoiding disaster. Wufang still has 2 more frags left. Now Samty's coming in. He's got both members of WClick. He's going to confirm onto Ragnar, but it's going to be Wufang who steals Herald.
There you go. This is what we wanted to see from you, Liquid. Start being aggressive. You guys have some firepower. Start using it. Lean in. Start getting those third parties in effect. Now go ahead and make Infantry's life a little bit more miserable. Force them to play back next to this. They'll be able to control so much terrain around them. Meanwhile, QM, I feel like they have a strong spot for now if it ends here. The problem is if they have to try to extricate from them, that's going to be rough.
Anytime you're coming in and out of shooting range, it can be pretty challenging. There's actually quite a bit of vision from the hills surrounding it, so any team that is up and over there can see you. So it makes it really challenging. You can see Silzen, he is stuck on the outside because Team Liquid was shooting at him. Detonator is coming in now. They send Wicked way ahead of the rest as per usual.
Rumbler still hanging out next to Severny. They're running a 2-2 split. We did see them go and get control over that other bunker. I would want to point out, there's a lot of pop tires. Every vehicle that we have seen so far has had some form of damage, pop tires onto it. Really, everybody's making the rotations miserable at this point. You can see that looks like a care package is going to be coming through, dropping off some presents from heaven there, but I wouldn't be surprised. It feels like anytime that happens, it's just a trap.
You feel like it whenever you're playing pubs, that whenever one of those crates comes down, you're like, well, this is a trap.
Army's got a pretty gifted one right now. I mean, in their position, they can just kind of go ahead and grab it. I'm willing to bet Duckmans will want to get it, but you can see New Circle has popped, still has shooting range inside of it. 2-2 split coming up from Rumblers. They're going to have to rejoin, and a ton of the teams back over towards the west are going to need to make their way closer towards shooting range in that giant hill just to the south of it.
Yeah, and we saw Athletico make that aggressive early rotation, and now it is paying dividends for them as they are still inside of the circle. They've got a nice 2-2 split going, able to control a lot of the southwestern area of the circle. So Armory Gaming is going to maybe cross their sight line potentially, but oh boy, this is Rascal Jester sending it again.
Send it to rest. I like that. Just jumps in the window. Is like, oh, okay, what's going on around me? Let's go ahead and prep some grenades. Maybe get some guns ready. No rush on this. He's already inside there. I mean, right as soon as that vehicle just hit the wall, he jumped out, vaulted in. He's now waiting. And see, G2's like, what? Where's he at? How did he get away with this? Rascal Jester pushing it back behind this. You can see trying to play along the hillside, so that's information being fed over. But Crow Crowd also looking back towards this, going to be following up back behind them. If we see Rascal Jester not looking back behind them, they could be in a lot of trouble right now as Crow Crowd wants to move on this. G2 is looking at a rotating red Knids right next to them. Yanis still making sure to keep an eye on that hill, know that maybe something's coming soon.
Big battles coming up here for Crow Crowd. They have to defeat Rascal Jester, and they knock all three of them in rapid succession. There is only going to be Mushamaru left for Rascal Jester.
So what was an aggressive push to get information is now the last man alive. You can see G2 hears that, was starting to make the push back over, and is like, no, okay, I'm just going to go meet up with my friends now. Brexico now finding himself in a rotation point. Santi goes down in a fiery exchange back and forth across this hillside. That's going to be Abisa as well. James is looking back down towards the Red Canids, trying to polish this off. Does get another down out of it, but there's a lot of bullets exchanging across this hillside.
It is going to come down to two members of Team Liquid here to try to get this done. James and Jempty, the last two standing, as Ibby has now gone down as well. The Canids doing so much damage, and Jempty getting a little bit more onto Psycho. Psycho able to reposition just enough so he doesn't take any more shots.
Oh no, Crow Crowd is rotating back around. They hear this firefight. They might be able to sneak up right back behind Team Liquid right now. They have to be so cautious. There's a lot of utility being burned. That's a giant red flag for anybody that's rotating in late, going, okay, we know where they're at. It's going to be James going down. Now it's just Jempty running back, but if he retreats, it's going to be right into the arms of Crow Crowd, who's pushing up the side. Tiksu's going to have vision on him in just a second. Does line it up, goes for the shot, and Team Liquid goes out in 15.
Tragedy strikes again for Team Liquid. They get a few kills, but it's just not enough. They need to start scoring points if they want to have a chance to make it to the semis next weekend.
And now Crow Crowd can just run down this hillside and get all of the points, all of the work that Liquid has done. You can see, trying to get the reses up right now. There's still smokes down. Crow Crowd's just playing along these trees, getting other downs, following up on the damage. That's Red Canids eliminated, and 7 kills for Crow Crowd right now, but finally a down comes out towards them.
Now there's a couple teams looking into Crow Crowd. You've got G2 and Athletico, and even potentially the last member of Sun Sister, Fiachan, never mind.
Yeah, every single time. It's like, maybe. No,
Forget
he's just going to go ahead and go down. G2 still has control over that building complex, so it's right on the edge of the circle. You can see Envy did make a rotation off towards the east of shooting range. It's going to pop back over towards them as AG, Rumblers, and Envy, the ones inside the circle right now, kind of armor game, pretty close to it, but that makes all these teams in shooting range. That's going to be rough. They have to disengage from this, figure out some way out. We already talked about almost all the tires are already popped, so that's going to be a run and gun situation into the circle.
Yeah, get ready for madness here. Isco, they've lost Aqua 5, have Detonator. They picked up 2 kills onto Hikari, their top fragger in the PKL in the last phase. And now there is a couple other teams on the southwest. You got about 4 teams fighting over the northwest, 3 on the southwest. And I tell you what, this is a big moment for Armory Gaming, who has the southern end of the circle all to themselves.
And Athletico. There are a ton of teams walking towards them right now. They can get a lot of points out of this. Already sitting on 4 kills. Shots going back and forth. And you can see Tiksu's already down. Athletico has to be cautious, though, because both of these teams are pinstering from 2 different points. They have to be so cautious. Extreme is caught up looking back over towards Giannis Nelos. Brex goes right up and in his face. The spray's going to come out, and that's one member of Athletico down. Going for the flush instantaneously. Now looking for more. They knew that they were caught up in a firefight, but he is so close, doesn't see him behind the tree, and that's going to be one of the members going down.
A great reaction by Flood to get Brexico down. That was a crucial moment for them, and look at this. Because of this, this is buying Crow Crowd the time to try to get these reses up. Flood is moving down the hill. Athletico realizing that they have to deal with G2. G2 ends up cleaning up Crow Crowd.
Just looks back down that angle, picks those up, easy peasy. G2 making their way across the hillside. Flood has hopped inside of a vehicle and is just trying to run down. The rocks pop out right in front of him. Gonna try to use that for cover, but as you said, Armored Gaming, they have a lot of beautiful sight lines back over towards this, and they're trying to push back over towards this fight. They know that there's weakened players around here. DMG running out in front with the grenade, definitely in range of Flood right now. Gonna toss it out. Is Flood gonna be able to react in time? And no, that's gonna be 2 kills going over to Armory Gaming.
Armory Gaming with a very nice push. They know they need these points, and this is when they are at their best, when they are being nutty. They just come in, third-party fights, catch teams completely off balance, and start wiping them out.
Here comes a push down from G2. They're going to opt into playing the top part of that hill that's still in play. Armory Gaming, I think, very aware of that, but we still have a lot going on over towards shooting ranges. QM is trying to mop up what's going on around them. GEX, last couple of members still outside and in the blue right now. Trying to get a shot off, maybe get one more point out of it, but it's going to draw a lot of attention back towards him. That's going to be GEX getting eliminated in 6th place. And now G2 has the sight line back over towards this, but Armory Gaming has G2 back in front of them and going to go ahead and take the shots towards it.
I want to see Armory Gaming just keep pushing west, keep pushing north, clear out this side of the circle, pick up some kills, but it looks like they're content with what they have for now and want to reposition.
All right, so Kind of a lull moment right now. New circle pops. Gonna favor Envy. Rumblers still playing inside of that bunker off to the side of this. QM still has a couple, well, have 2 members that they can make a play with, as well as G2 off to the side with 1. Armor Gaming hopping in their vehicles. Looks like they might opt into maybe making a vehicle fortification, go for that one building that's just south of Envy. Looks like Envy doesn't have a clean sight line to really take anybody out towards it, so Armor Gaming gonna be able to run up, send it, and get this one for free, but G2 Yanna's gonna walk right into one of the members, does get the spray down onto him, picks up another point for him, so that moves him up to 6, and has himself a little dip for now to med up from.
Yep, he's got just enough time before the circle starts closing in on him to get his heals off and get up and running again. One member of QM over there in front of him. Let's see if he can get... He cannot get a shot onto Easy here. The head pops up from Easy, isn't able to really connect. Easy gets a few shots in return. Now Easy's gonna pop down himself and try to wait this out, see if he can find Yannis. Yannis is gonna cook a grenade. Can Easy get the shots? He gets one, but it's Waldo who gets him.
Oh, that grenade does do a lot of damage, and that's gonna slow him down even more. The Rumblers did hear what was going on, taking a couple of shots off to the side of this. Duckman's now regrouping with the rest of Armory Gaming, as it feels like it's gonna be Envy and Armory Gaming looking towards each other, with the Rumblers off to the side of this, still looking back over towards Easy.
Armory lost Tanawat in transition there. I'm really curious to see how much that is going to hurt them when it comes down to it. When we start getting towards these final circles, Rumblers are going to finish off QM. That's 4th place for them. So it's a 2v3v3 with 2 NA teams and the last surviving team from SEA coming up.
All right, so we've been talking about Duckmans quite a bit. He can have an influence on a game. What can he do in this situation? Everybody's already got their little part of the circle carved out. So now it's just a little bit more information gathering, trying to burn off armor, helmets, get any shots in that you can to weaken these opponents before this last fight. 8 people alive, 3 teams up and active. I believe it is a 3v3v2 in this situation, with Rumblers being the low man.
This is where you need your superstars to shine. Duckman is the superstar for Armory Gaming. This is a big moment. Can he come up for them here and get them some desperate points that they need so much?
Envy has a lot of control inside this complex, but I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to handle Pride. He's separated off away from the rest of his team. You can see how Armory Gaming is kind of stepping up, trying to use that hill, trying to use it for a little bit more cover, but get that information, get those shots off as well. Pride doesn't have a sight line towards Armory Gaming really too much with where those buildings are set up. So he's kind of useless in his position, except to maybe protect how Rumblers decides to move, but that feels like that's a huge cost with very little benefit.
Yeah, he's just trying to cover the back end, make sure there's not somebody sneaking up behind Envy. We know because we can see the map that they're quite clear, and this is an Armory Gaming favored circle. So now, this is a real big opportunity for them. Can they hold this through?
You can see Rumblers still playing off to the side of this, figuring out how they want to make their approach. Near on no cover in front of them. They're just going to have to kill their way to some form of safety, be it a tree or a rock. Meanwhile, Armory Gaming could have good sight lines on both of these teams as they move in. Envy is aware that if they want to make a push, they need to get some type of down, they need to get some control, or they're going to have to use a ton of utility just to try to make their way back over towards something. You can see smoke's now starting to come out. Everybody's realizing, okay, it's got to be time. Pride still has himself a vehicle. That's probably going to be the reposition point. As another tire goes out, I'm telling you, this game just doesn't believe in tires.
I love it. That is some great shooting from Armory Gaming as that tire scrapes its way across the road, and Pride is going to have to bail out of it. He isn't going to get much else done. Rumblers are in a lot of trouble here, Matchroom. There is not much room for them to maneuver. There isn't a lot of hard cover available. Some smokes are out. Can they find the angles to somehow get in?
You can see all these guys throwing smokes separated out from where they are right now. None of them dropping smokes directly at their feet, because the lack of cover, they know that's death. So they're trying to throw out smokes a little bit further, then throw up a follow-up smoke to use that block different angle. Looks like Cherry Poppin's just going to try to get the UAZ in towards the circle, use that for some form of cover right over here next to this tree. That's multiple members of Envy just going full on send it mode. They're just pushing right over towards that little bit of a lip, and they're going to be able to get it, but grenades are going to start coming out. They're all going to roll a little bit too far off the get-go. That initial salvo not getting it, but look at Pat Cap's reposition. He's right up next to where we see Armory Gaming, but Taro goes down to a bouncing grenade, but there should be time to be able to go over there and get the res. How much grenades do they really see on Armory right now? Looks like they're going to have to stop for a second.
Yeah, if they've got some more, that's a molly that's going to come up short. So potentially Envy is going to be able to get the revive here. Armory Gaming does not want to cede this lift. They won't push up over and try to pick that off. They can't because of Rumblers.
Rumblers are holding the angle. Cherry Poppins on a long rotation out in the open, using the distraction, trying to see if maybe he can find an angle. DMG, it's going to be Skeet taking the shots back over towards Waldo as he runs towards that rock and should be able to make it. That push coming out from Envy really unsettled Armory Gaming, and they're just trying to figure out, where do we put our focus at?
Great opportunity for Rumblers, and they took advantage of it, but Duckmans is going to find Waldo, going to try to get the confirmation with the frag. It is going to come up a little bit short, doesn't even clip the vehicle.
So we've got Cherry Poppins just hiding out in the field right now. Duckman seems to know exactly where he is, just trying to get that information. But this has pulled Duckmans away from the Envy push. Any aggression that they decide to do over towards it, because you can see Skeet trying to move along the outside of this, trying to get a new position so that way if they need to make some type of aggression over towards anything that Envy's trying to set up, they have somebody set and ready to go. So now it's all about reactionary. It's about who has to make the first move, who gets that good sight line back over, and Envy using the car, making that push over there, still has a ton of utility that they can burn at this point. They still have all of their smokes, so that gets them a little bit more room.
Yeah, the circle shifted away from Armory Gaming, so they have to push up and over the hill. Is Cherry Poppins going to play spoiler for them and give the win condition to Envy? Skeet is up on the roof just trying to cover the Envy push, but Envy doesn't have to move.
There's a lot of high ground that favors Armory right now, and Envy seems to be aware of it. That's why they're trying to use the smokes, trying to use these rockery positions. But that's two members coming up from Armory Gaming trying to circle around the outside of this hill, while Pat is trying to move over the place that he knew Armory Gaming was at. But there's just one member holding this position right now. Skeet being very patient on it, and looks like Duckman's also wanting to move into that aggressive point. Is he going to be able to see Pat Caps off of this? If he steps up, it's very hazardous. But here's the shots coming out from Pat Caps. That's Duckman starting to move a little bit more aggressive. You can see he's glancing back down towards the mini-map. Like, okay, where are they going to be at? That's going to be a nice little push coming up from Pat Caps. Goes for the shots, takes a little bit of damage, but now knows exactly where one of the members are. Looks back over towards Duckman, goes for the spray. Damage back and forth, but it's going to be Pat that goes down. No real follow-up capable coming through from Envy right now.
Duckmans with a great outplay onto Pat Caps. Pat Caps just not able to get those peaks going onto Skeet or Duckmans. He does some damage, but ends up getting knocked in the cross. So here comes Skeet on the right-hand side, finishing off Pat Caps. Some smokes are coming down from Duckmans as we now have our final circle. All the teams are going to get pushed into each other.
We have Skeet and Duckmans playing the low ground now, up close next to Envy. Off to the side of that, it's going to be DMG. Very aware. Cherry Poppins is still there. Duckman's playing this little bit of a lip, gets him a little bit more vision. Looks like he's going to play it aggressive. Run towards the smokes that Envy has set. Take the shot. Taro should be aware that the push could be coming. Duckman's just running through it, trying to see if he can spot it out. Runs right in front of Taro, goes for the spray on one, gets a second one, and now it is all on to Cherry Poppins, looking back over towards Armory Gaming, about to make their push. Skeet drops down to his chest. DMG did go down inside of that, so it is Duckman's and Skeet back over towards Cherry Poppins.
Who is going to be the hero? Is it going to be Cherry Poppins, or is it going to be Duckmans or Skeet for Armory Gaming? Cherry Poppins has a little bit of an advantage here on the high ground. He can prone down, but now he's going to get up. He's got Duckmans on his left. Skeet on the right. Duckmans has got the spray, and he's going to get him.
Shots come through. Armory Gaming, 8 kills in an intense final circle. Great job coming up from the guys from Armory Gaming.
Wow, I said it. When you need a big moment, it's when your heroes come through, and Duckmans with a 6 kill. Oh my gosh, he's so good.
When it comes down and everything's on the line, your superstars rise when they need to, and Duckman shows up big. That push directly into the smokes. I just gotta say, I love seeing that. That was what we were missing whenever we saw this team play in the last group. We just didn't get to see those flashes of Duckman brilliance.
He just wasn't making there. He was getting caught in transition so much that we just never got to see the Duckman that we've come to know and love. Finally today, in a big moment, he steps up and gets it done. Loved it.
Something else to note, Rumblers and Envy in a cusp position moving into this game, netting quite a few points off of it. That's going to pay off big for them, as well as G2. They're walking away with 6 kills and a 5th place.
Big games for some of these teams that were more towards the bottom of the standings. So this is getting interesting. It's going to get even tighter in the middle of all this around that cutoff line.
The question's coming out from me now. I know the analyst desk was talking a second ago, like, okay, Liquid, you had your one bad game. Now it's at 2. it's just so much pressure mounting. I know they have a huge fan base. If you look at the amount of people that voted for them with these PGC skins, it is absolutely huge. That pressure has got to be mounting on their backs, and I know the analysts are going to want to break down every second of it.
That is right. Armory Gaming here getting themselves the victory and really making up for a lot of what we saw in day number 1 here of